What's good, guys? It's your boy CS back with another one. It's been around 2 weeks since my last video, and really a lot has moved on, and we need to be wary about what's going to be upcoming this week. And so, this video is actually going to be very, very quick. So, this historic trend line from 2018 is just, we've been following this from the start, and I've always said, historically, we've never been able to actually fully break it, as you can see here from like the previous cycle, and then the double top when on the Bitcoin chart anyway, on the inverse side, when Bitcoin topped out. And this was the first time we ever got below it back in December, January time, right? And then from there, we just kind of like leapt off. And if we just, decipher what's happened the past 5 to 6 weeks. On May the 5th, we broke it and we stayed there for 2 weeks. Now, from the end of May, the 26th of May, not only did we jump above it, the following week we back tested it. And then this week we're kind of just off to the races here because we've now tested it twice. So I'm giving you the bearish stance, which is we've broken this yellow trend line. And, you might get another back test next week, and then that's it. We're going for a ride. That's what the bears are looking for right now. So the bearish stance is that this is going to be a big bloodbath. And as you know, in my previous videos, I did predict the 4.98% will get tagged. Now, one thing we do want to understand here is if this is just a continuation of the downtrend, which would be bullish, right? If this is a continuation, then no issues, this is bullish. But the argument's sake is, from the bearish point of view, is inverse head and shoulders. And so I think I gave a target last time, and I'm not going to keep running through the same things, but we'll probably end up around 5.27% ish, maybe here 5.11 to 5.27%. And so that's a dangerous place where Bitcoin, alts, crypto do not want to be at. Now, on the reverse end, what I have been saying is, look, we've had an impulse move down, we had some consolidation, impulse move down, consolidation, impulse move down, consolidation, and we had this like bearish flag pattern which we've been bouncing around in. And bear in mind, this is the Tether and the USDC combined, right? And since then, I kept saying, like, we never got a back test. We didn't even get a back test on 4 hour. Like, give us some type of back test. We just flushed down very, very quickly, and we didn't get no back test whatsoever. And that's where I was with it, where I kept saying, I don't like trading. And you would have seen I didn't really take any trades, even a lot here. I didn't really take any trades because I thought, you know what? If we get whacked back up, it could be quite nasty. And obviously it was quite nasty because of the Iran and the Israel news that also contributed to it. But in actuality, if you really think about it, the Iran and Israel news, what's actually going on compared to what's been going on from like other bear markets where a war is declared. So when Ukraine and Russia, just for backdrop story, when they issued their war back in 2021, 2022, end of 2021, basically, end of the bull market, that was the start of the bear market, right? And we just kept plunging and plunging and plunging. The price just kept going berserk, and it just kept nuking. There's fucking rockets going off and bombings left, right, and center, and cluster bombs and all this type of shit that's going on live, like live commentary. But yet we're not tanking as we should be tanking as a normal bear market nuke. So I've not checked the fear and greed, and I'd like to know where that is. But for now, the bullish stance is that we only just backtest this. We've just backtested this. We're still golden here. Now, even if we were to climb back in and we hit like 7.0304%, right? And then we just tag it, and then, we come back down, and then that's the steam for the consolidation that we need to go for our next leg. that is all on the cards. That is very much all on the cards. As for the dominance, we are confining really well to this red rising channel. So this red rising channel, another historic one from 2023, 2022, 2020, 2023. So as you can see, these red, not those ones, the red, no, there we go. The red trend lines, that's where our fixation is. And at the moment, we're really confining to it. This is good for alts. So anything around these red trend lines are where you're going to get a bounce. Even better is the purple one. Now, what I'm personally waiting for is for us to hit basically here, like 66%. 65 to 66% is the golden zone. And in my opinion, will kickstart an alt season, and then we'd finally get an alt season that everybody's been begging for. That would be the alt season that everybody's begging for. Now, when I come on here, I can see that the RSI is starting to get a bit weak going to the upside. So we've got a lot of divergences playing out. So we had a couple there, and then we played out. We got a drop. And now we're rising again, and we want this to rise a bit more. And then for this to cause another divergence. And then once we get that red dot, that's when we shall take longs on many alts. That would be a perfect risk to reward ratio. Anything in between is just, at these red trend lines. For those that are trading on the weekend, I know this probably won't go out, but the CME gap is at 105.715. Just so you're aware. There's a glitch that they always do, which is 105.380, which people think the price will come down to. And it may well come down to, but that's where they think the gap will end. That is incorrect. It's very much incorrect. Okay, Bitcoin, very quickly. Sorry, I am on the clock today. I wish I could have had more time to spend doing analysis, but at the moment, nothing's really changed in my opinion. So still conforming into that wedge pattern, this pink wedge pattern. And we got the bounce there. Then we also had the flag pattern, which we never back tested. Same like the USDCT one. See this blue? These blue trend lines? A wedge pattern, a flag, whatever you want to call it, right? Doesn't matter. We broke out and we never got a back test. That's not a back test. This Sunday was not a back test. This was a back test. This was a back test. I mean, I can move it just so it clips the outer rim of them both. There you go. That's a perfect one. That's the perfect back test. So we had the pink trend line as a back test. We've got the blue trend line as a back test. We've got the POC as a back test. That's 3 reasons to long there. And there was the 50 EMA, which was another back test. So in actuality, as far as bullish momentum goes, this is bullish for Bitcoin. No matter what's going on, there are signs on the technicals that this is still a bullish continuation pattern. Next chart. In terms of POC zones, now this is weekly POC zones. So when we look at our last all-time high closes on the weekly, in December and January, we could never ever close above 104.4, right? Since then, over the past 4 weeks, we've had 1 close above 104, 2 closes, 3 closes, and 4 closes. And I mean, I don't know what's going to happen by the end of this close, but within 4 to 5 hours, could this, dip down to 104 and dip below that? That's why weekly closes are really important. You always need to keep an eye on weekly closes. The reason being is because, well, look here. This is even better for you as weekly closes. We've never been able to get a weekly close above 108.879. Here again, couldn't close above. And then this week, we couldn't get a close above. So there's a lot going on there in respect of, where Bitcoin can go. I still think it can go higher. I don't think this is the peak, personally. There is bearish technicals, though, to suggest otherwise, and I respect that too. But my technicals are still bullish, and I guess it's easy for me to say because I've bought all the alts right at the bottom, right, in extreme fear. So, like, none of my alts are near my original position. And that's why I always say to people, do not buy do not DCA more into your original position. Just create a new account and have a new position. Don't fuck up your original position. If you're trying to hodl something, like something as simple as SPX, right? I just want to show this, right? Is SPX has gone straight into its all-time high, but I was screaming buy round here. Okay? Now, if you bought anywhere around here in April or even May, right, even here, SPX has not come down anywhere near your entry, and you're practically chilling. Now, even if you picked some of the ones that I've picked, right, and I bought round here, like 0.13, I think it was, yeah, 1.13 I bought. I even got people into entries at 0.2101, I'm pretty sure, like Galley. There were loads of people that got that popcat entry. I just can't remember at the moment. Doom, Galley. There's loads of people that bought that entry. All you needed to do on it was sit on it, right? And even here on the retrace that we've got right now, it's nowhere near 0.2101 or 09, whatever the entry was. So you're practically chilling. And that's where we are with it. Now, final thing I'm going to do before I sign out is look at this damn SPX chart, which is... Last week was not the best close, I'll be honest with you. It wasn't the best close for the SPX. However, we always knew this was going to be a very tough area. And in actuality, you could even argue it's just a back test. So actually, it is bullish. It's just saying there is more continuation to come. That we get one red week and then we can finally blast through and try to attack that gap up here. There is a gap there. A gap there, sorry. And then another gap there. So we've got two gaps above. Below, we have numerous gaps, but remember, not all gaps below need to be closed. And that's about it. All right, guys, I'm in a rush and I do need to get out and about. So it's not a long one this time around. Remember, watch the weekly close on the USDT and C charts. Watch the weekly close on Bitcoin within its POC area. Weekly closes tell you a lot. They do tell you a lot. And at the moment, we are above where we need to be. And therefore, there is nothing bearish just yet. All this has been is a nice back test. Like I said, with a war and things are ongoing and escalating, we should be in a much worse predicament, in my opinion. All right, guys. Hope you have a good week of trading. I will try to check in as I can along this week as well.